Hi, everybody. If this is not a tarot video, um, this video is because I have been watching a few things happen in the world with some people around me, and also with some other YouTubers, another tarot reader in particular, who has been going through some things that I personally have gone through in an extreme abundance in my life, and there are some things that I realized I might that sharing might be very helpful. So if this video is about DV, this video is about and inspired and here because a fellow YouTube tarot reader has been going through some DV things and had to abruptly leave her home with her animals and stay like in random, like she was in her car and then she had to find a hotel room, and like where could she stay with all of these animals, what was happening with all of her stuff, how the police were treating her, how her stalkers were treating her. I mean, all of it was like pretty gnarly. And through it, she's doing exactly what you should be doing. So she's live streaming and she's keeping record. So I personally have had this experience ad nauseum in my life. And there were some things that I was able to help with or suggest. I don't know if those suggestions were taken, but it made me realize that even somebody who's well-versed in relationships, even somebody who's giving advice to people on a daily basis, even somebody who's of sound mind and high intelligence, high emotional intelligence, these types of things can happen too, right? And you might think that if you've seen somebody who's been in one of these positions before, you might judge them. Please don't, because it could easily be you. It could very easily be you, because it doesn't happen right away. It happens over a long period of time. The narcs, they start taking little bits of your soul. They start very slowly taking away your confidence, very slowly putting things in your mind that make you doubt yourself, that take your self-confidence away. They start building trust and relationships with people around you, so that when they do take you down, or when you do call them out, or when something is when you're ready to leave, right, they have a means to keep you there, another means to hold against you. So here's my advice for you guys. If you are in this type of a situation, and you feel like you need to go, silently pack a bag and make a plan. If you have the means to put money away, do that. Put it away, and leave without them knowing. Don't tell them where you're going. Make sure that you have your documentation, all of your IDs, any of your like insurance information, your car insurance, any of your electronics. Make sure all your passwords are guarded, and don't let them know. Make sure that somebody else that you do trust, that's removed from the situation, has your information. They know where you are. You're keeping a point of contact at all times. If you have to leave in an abrupt situation where you don't have the time to plan all of these things out, make sure that you are taking the things that you need, which includes all of your electronics, your IDs, your phone, your purse, your money, any of those things, right? And if you do have dependents, whether that be children or animals, that they also come with you, right? If you can, take them with you. And your safety and the human safety is obviously top priority. So if you need to, make a plan to come back for something, that'll come later. But in the meantime, like, prioritize and do not share your information with the people or person that you're trying to extricate yourself from, right? Have a plan of action. Know where the women's shelters are, whether you be a man or a woman. Know where the women's shelters are. Know where the shelters are. Know where the DV. Have a DV advocate. A list of them, or if you don't have that and you need to again leave abruptly, that's who you should be Googling. That's what you should be looking for, is DV advocacy, because they're the people who have saved me, saved my life, saved my children's life on more than one occasion. My ex-husband parentally kidnapped my children 4 times. 4 times, the first time when they were in the 3rd grade and the last time when they were in the 10th grade. And every time it was a debacle and a problem. And the first time he took them, it was for 6 weeks, and he took them to a cabin without an address on parkland in New Mexico. And we didn't know where they were, right? And the police are telling us that there's no address there. There is no house there. But I went to Tessa, this place in Colorado Springs, where the advocates there called missing persons in the county and explained the situation and who they were. And a sheriff went to the park, located the cabin, found my children, and talked to them and let them know, like, and let my ex-husband, I mean, this, their presence let my children know that their mother was looking for them, that I didn't abandon them, that that's not what was supposed to be happening right now, and that I was doing my best to get them back. And I also let my ex-husband know that, that we were aware of the situation and what was going on and where they were and what was happening. And that is that's a slippery slope if you want to notify the person who's doing this, that the police are after them. But in that case, I did it. I needed to do that for my children's sake, because they were babies. And it took 6 weeks to get them back. I had to talk to the place for missing and exploited children. I had to talk to the FBI. I had to talk to DHS. I had to talk to everybody. I had to go to a bunch of different states because he filed erroneous charges in a state in New Mexico, the state that didn't even have any kind of say at all. It was Colorado or Michigan. And so we had to go through 3 court systems to have these erroneous handwritten charges, handwritten thing that he turned into the court, but because he turned it into the court, we had to go through the process, right? And so that was the first time. And he did it 3 more times after that. And that's just after the divorce. That's after the DV. That's after the restraining order, right? That's after me fleeing. That's after my hospitalization. That's after all of those things, right? So, and just to let you know, my kids and I, we all live happily with, in a safe space. Everybody is cared for. Everybody is well fed. Everyone is safe. Everyone is loved. We made it through, and you can too. You can too. You protect yourself, take care of yourself, and have a plan of action. Some things to know. Again, know where the DV advocates are, know where your local courthouses are, know where your local shelters are, and also like Motel 6 will take animals if you have pets that you need to care for, or that you have in your care, and you don't have a place to go. There's also lots of food available around places. The churches do it, food banks do it. There's lots of advocacy in ways, in those types of ways. And also know that on average it takes 7 times to leave the situation, 7 times of this back and forth. And I know that because they pull you back in, or they manipulate you, or they take your money, or they call some stuff and make you be, like what happened to this person, so trying to take away the rights to care for yourself by claiming you're something that you're not and pushing lies against you. And then you have to work through that, right? So any way that they can make your life more difficult, they will. And that's why the least amount of contact and communication with them about where you're going, what you're doing, and where you're going to be is crucial, right? But also having advocacy, also having witnesses, documenting everything, just like the YouTuber did, right? Sending her so much light, Spiritually Fit Tarot, sending her so much light, because it's a very, very strong individual, and to handle the things the way she did everything right. She did everything right, and it still doesn't make it easy. It still doesn't make it, it's unsettling. It's disturbing. It's traumatic. It's unnecessary, right? And it keeps going because that's how these situations, that's how the narcissistic dynamic and the narcissistic family structure works, right? They get flying monkeys, they gaslight you, they gang stalk you, they do smear campaigns, they put false allegations against you. I mean, I've had all of those things happen to me, and I'll tell you, it ain't an easy road, but in the end, and after getting through it, it's pretty clear who is right and who is wrong, or who's okay and who isn't. And it doesn't, in this point where I'm at in my life, like, I don't care where that person is, as long as they're not around us, right? As long as they're not interfering in our daily life, that's the best we could hope for, right? And I know, like, that some people don't have a support structure, don't have the means, maybe don't have the money, you know what I mean? Maybe don't, but that's why it's important to know where your community resources are, right? So, if I'm going to put the phone number for the national hotlines down here because it's extremely important. It's extremely important to know where your resources are, know that it's okay to go, right? And that there is light on the other side of the tunnel. There is light on the other side of the tunnel, and it is going to be a difficult process. That's why you document everything. You document everything for your own safety, for your own sake, and for your own sanity. Because you don't know how many times I went back and looked at text messages or screenshots. And I was like, that is what happened. They're gaslighting you. You have to have that documentation. They're telling, false things. They're trying to make life harder on you, and they're using the police to do that. I mean, my ex used to do welfare checks on my house all the time, saying that he hadn't spoken to my kids in weeks and he didn't know where they were, and the cops would come to my house. The last time they did it, it was 12. They were 12 deep. Some in uniform, some in plain clothes, some with clipboards, but there was 6 cop cars outside of my house. And I stood on my porch and I was like, and this guy lives in New Mexico and he's calling my city in Michigan and doing this. And my kids out on the porch and they're fine. I wouldn't let him in my house, but I was like, he's using you. He's using and abusing you to abuse me. And I'm the one who lives here. These are the kids who go to school here. We're the ones who pay taxes here. I'm the one who's part of this community. You're supposed to be protecting me. And every single time you come here, everything is fine. And yet I'm showing them that this guy hasn't called and that he called 3 times and hung up right before the cops got there. And then my kids are on the porch. Show and tell and say, this isn't right. Stand up for yourself. Stay calm. Okay, stay calm and stay centered. And if you need to talk to somebody, I'm going to put the phone numbers down here. Call a friend. Have your community resources readily available for you, and do not communicate that you are making an exit or where you're going or any hint of what your plan is. Okay, if you have the ability to do it that quiet, do it that quiet, and know that you don't have to come back 6 times. If they call you and tell you to come back, it's probably a trick. Make sure that you have everything aligned. If you need a restraining order, get a restraining order before you go anywhere near the space, even if it's your home and you just want to be home. Take care of yourself first, okay? Because they're not going to suddenly have this epiphany that you were right, and maybe I'm being a jerk, and maybe I should just leave them alone. Maybe this isn't working out well for anybody, so you're right, I'm going to cut my losses. They will never do that. They will never, ever, ever do that. You have to be the one to. Okay? I hope that was helpful. Again, I'm going to put those numbers down there. Make a plan, make a list. We'll put some resources on there. And if you know anybody who could benefit from watching this, if you know anybody who's in need, if you have a suspect that somebody might be feeling or having that kind of a situation go on with them and they're not communicating that with you, but check in on them. Check in on them, make yourself available to help them, and maybe show them this video or send them some of these resources because it could make all the difference. All right? I'm sending you so much light. I love you. Bye.